Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny Ortiz here with Over the Top MC Service, and we're officially counting down the days. We've been doing this for weeks. We're counting down the days to the Achieve Business Explosion in Denver. And you guys know for the past few weeks, we've been kind of peeling back the curtain, letting you get a sneak peek at some of the speakers that are going to be here on the stage in Denver. They're going to be lighting up the Denver stage. And this guest today is no exception. So today, guys, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a coach and consultant, an author, a business owner, pay attention close. We're going to be talking about how to turn your expertise into opportunities. Our special guest today has spent over 30 years helping businesses grow, crushing complacency, and teaching leaders how to create opportunities when everyone else was standing still. He's known as the complacency crusher. He's the founder of Speakers Speak Live, a thriving international community that has hosted over 250 events, showcased over 200 speakers, and has welcomed over 1,200 participants from around the world. He's built 3 successful businesses through speaking, authored multiple books, served as membership director. He currently serves as a membership director for, get this, the largest chapter of NSA in the country. And at AchieveBiz Explosion, he's going to be leading a powerful session called Generate Massive Wealth Through Speaking. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Marty Dickinson.
Ooh. There's Johnny.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
We got to come up with some kind of intro for you instead of here's Johnny. That one was already done with the tonight show, but there's Johnny.
Here he is, baby. Let's go. Marty, I'm excited to have you on here. Man, that is the intro could have been longer. Man, I had pages of stuff. How do you do all that?
Well, over time, you just accumulate experience one way or another. I mean, a lot of it is not in the introduction content that I gave you because, well, nobody wants to hear about all the chaos that went on to get to where I am today. I mean, we all learn from all of our mistakes. For every one thing I've done right, there have been 100 of things that were even more than that than I've done wrong and had to scoop myself out of the gutter and raise myself up and continue to grow this business.
Oh, absolutely. And as we mentioned in the opening, we're just days away from Denver, Colorado, and it's going to be an incredible event. Now, in the intro, you've built 3 businesses through speaking over the past 30 years. And I just got to ask, kind of getting straight into it, was there a specific moment when you realized speaking wasn't just a communication skill, but rather a business growth strategy? I mean, at what point was there a defining moment, an event? What happened? How did that come about?
Oh, yeah, there really was. I mean, long before I was working with business owners, I started a side business just while I was in corporate America, working for the man, you know, and there I was, and I thought I need to start a side hustle. So I did that, and I started working with bands and musicians. And one day there was a band that I helped put together, and they said, "Hey, come on out. We'll introduce you to some people, and that'll be great. And you can help them too." Well, they brought me up on stage, and there were about 75 musicians in the audience. And at first I thought, wow, what a great opportunity. I'll just go up there and speak about my business. And every one of these people will sign up for how I'm helping these other musicians. And I got up there and I started telling them all about my business. And then I got off the stage. I walked off the stage and a guy smacked me in the leg. He was right in the front row. And he said, "What the hell did you say? I couldn't understand a word you said because you were 6 feet away from the microphone."
Oh.
And that's when I realized 2 things. Number one, oh yeah, I had a missed opportunity because I could have delivered one message to this whole room. But the other thing is that I needed to learn how to do it right. And I needed to practice until speaking became part of my soul. So that is when I realized the potential, but I knew that I was nowhere near capable.
Guys, I need you to listen. Matter of fact, I call them writer downers. Marty, I believe you're fixing to drop a lot of writer downers. So if you're watching this, definitely get a pen and paper ready, because Marty's going to continue dropping things like that. Because here's the thing, right? Communication, connection, you got to do it right. You could have the best message, but if nobody hears it, right? Now, when I was preparing for this, you teach that many businesses become dangerously dependent on one or maybe two lead generation methods. Marty, why is that so risky in today's economy?
Well, because so many things change over time. I mean, Facebook ads were great. Google AdWords were great at one time, going way back. And even before Google, there were hundreds of search engines that you could get your website on. And then suddenly, none of that mattered, because if you were not on Google, you had nothing. And today, it's not even about Google search anymore. It's about AI search. You need to come up in AI search results. So things just change so quickly. You've got to be fluent. In fact, I have 128 specific things a business owner can do to reignite their lead gen, and it changes every year. It changes. But the one thing that never changes is getting on stages and speaking. As a matter of fact, even with AI today, I'd say that speaking is even more important than it ever was, because it's one of the only ways left that you can prove you are truly the person, that you are the authentic, genuine article.
Wow, 128 ways. Wow. Are you serious? Come on, guys. I mean, seriously, think about this, guys. You know, whenever you hear the word speaker, right? You've said it a couple different times, but so many times immediately people go to that keynote speaker, that keynote presenter, and really it's not so much about that, but it's really who should be speaking and what opportunities are they missing staying silent. I mean, what would you say to that? Is those, how many missed opportunities does a business owner really miss by staying silent and not actually being the voice of their business, of their company?
Oh, so many opportunities. And I mean, you're right. Most people think of, speaker, keynoter, and I have to be so funny to be a speaker, or I don't have enough stories to be a speaker. You know, all of that really means nothing, because what is most important is that you are an expert in your topic. Nobody else can do exactly what you do in the same way that you do it. It's your method. You have a method buried inside you, and I call that your genuine expert method, your GEM. And it's that method that people are willing to pay for, to hear you speak, to buy your book, to hire you for thousands and thousands of dollars. And this is right out of the gate, because again, everybody has a genuine expert method. Even if you're only 10 years old, you are an expert in surviving that 10 years. Nobody has done that exactly like you. Nobody has your stories and your case studies and how you coached a friend through a challenging time. Nobody does that exactly like you. That's what audiences want to hear. What is that method that you have buried inside you? And you don't even have to be a particularly great speaker to deliver that. I mean, when I was starting out, I had lots of people coming up to me afterwards, and they'd say, well, I have a suggestion for you. You really should do this. You should have better eye contact, or you should have better gestures. I mean, we learned this in Toastmasters and all kinds of things. But when it came to the content, they were like, nobody has ever taught me that before. I can really put that to use right now. I'm so glad I came to hear you speak. So that's what you have to look forward to, is take the information that you are the expert in and deliver that. And there are multiple ways to do that. It doesn't just mean giving a 60-minute keynote or a 90-minute or 3 or 4 hour workshop. That can be simply participating on something like this. This is the equivalent to a podcast. You're interviewing me and all of our other speakers as well for the Achieve conference, where we will be next week. It'll be awesome with, 500 plus assertive business owners. I can't wait. But that's what you have to look forward to is that there's so many different ways to get started as a speaker. Start out with podcasts and just gain clarity and work your way up to having even your own events. I mean, anybody today can start up a Zoom meeting and invite your friends and people you know and your connections and just share part of your wisdom. And soon it turns into a weekly event.
Absolutely. I had someone tell me a while back, some old geezer said, hey, somebody somewhere is waiting to hear what you have to say so that it's going to allow them to become the person that they need to become. And I thought, me? What would I get? Somebody's going to pay me to speak, to talk on stage or microphone? And I thought that was the craziest thing in the world until it happened.
I think it's really inspiring for new speakers for when that happens the very first time, because we all sort of get into this. We get into speaking for different reasons. I mean, there are definitely some people that just want to kind of stroke their ego, or they get laid off and they really have no other option than to start something, and they're pretty good at speaking from their corporate job and training and all that. So they start a speaking career. That's great. I mean, who am I to judge? I mean, we all have different reasons to get into speaking, but it really pays off. I think everyone would agree with us that is in the speaking business, that the real payoff, even beyond all the money and the fame and the fortune, all that stuff that doesn't happen right away. It takes a long time to build that up. But the real payoff is when someone walks up to you after you're done with literally a tear in their eye, and they maybe nobody else came up to you after, but that one person walks up to you and says, I just want to let you know that I was thinking about closing my business next week, and you changed my mind. And it's because of you that I'm not going to lay off the 10 employees that I have. Or someone that maybe you have a similar health issue to someone else in the audience, and they walk up and say, I thought I was alone in all this, but now I know I'm not. And there's actually a support group that I can go to be with other people with this condition. I mean, there are all kinds of people that come up to you after, and you never know what to expect. But when they come up to you and they give you that kind of feedback, it's kind of like playing golf when you really shank a shot, and then all of a sudden you put it in the hole, right? Your next shot, it's like, oh, I'm ready to play again now.
You're ready to go to the pros. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And I'm so glad you brought up AI earlier, because it's kind of been the big deal for the last several months, maybe even a couple of years now. But in an AI-driven world where content is everywhere, a lot of people are afraid of it. A lot of people are unsure. They don't know. And you mentioned earlier that speaking is going to be becoming more valuable instead of less valuable. Can you tie that together for me?
Well, there are so many confusing channels of information coming our way all at the same time. How do you know what to believe? How do you know who to trust? I mean, everything online can be faked. Right now in the speaking business, I'm reading a lot and participating in a lot of group chats related to National Speakers Association that I'm a part of, and we're all seeing this, where people are coming up, they're new at speaking, and they're being taught how to get the gig, how to the right things to say to get the opportunity to speak on stages that they're not really ready for, and they're putting together demo reels with AI, and they're making themselves look more established than they really are. And that's all great until you actually do have to take the stage. And then in a lot of cases, these people are not living up to the expectation that the person bringing them in has hired them to do. So the audience is being let down, and it all comes back to the meeting planner that hired the speaker. So there's just a lot of, even on their side, like, how do I know what speaker to pick that's really going to do a good job for my audience. So we're getting it on both sides here, but I think that's where speaking is really going to continue to grow. And it is. I mean, I believe, and I say this every year, but every year I'm proven correct, that this is the best year in history to be using speaking to build your business. And again, it can mean a lot of different things, but just in a general sense, this is a great time to be in this business. And the weirder that the world gets, the more chaotic it gets, the more we are in need to provide not just hope, but process. There needs to be hope that there is a solution to the problem people are going through in the audience, but there also needs to be process. What sequence can you bring? Here, let's not even wait until you go home. Here is step one. You're going to do this right now. I mean, we're all together, so why not, right? Why not just get step one done? That's what people are wanting to do. They're wanting to go to conferences if they can walk out of that room having already done a step or two or three to get them out of this problem that's existing in their life or their business or their health or their relationships. And that is where true professional speakers jump in. It's not about just you being funny and putting on a great show, but you're actually giving your audience something that they can do right then in the moment. And that's become really important.
Yeah, you I call it bingo. You nailed it. Right on the head. It's that problem. You're able to solve that problem. And the way one of my coaches said, he said that money changes hands when problems are solved, because it's one of those things that you can't fake it. But a lot of times it's the start that stops most people. You just got to be willing to take that first step in the process to get there. Marty, I love football. I love having fun. I love a lot of those activities. And I've heard it said that too many people are playing the game not to lose versus playing the game to win. In the speaking world, what's more expensive, Marty? I call this the fun life question. What's more expensive, investing in your visibility or staying invisible?
Oh, the opportunity loss of being invisible is just, it's horrendous. I mean, you've heard the saying, people buy from people that you know, like, and trust. Right? Well, I believe there needs to be another word on there. People buy from people they know, like, trust, and are visible.
Yeah.
And that visibility it requires consistency. It doesn't mean just doing, Facebook reel once every 6 months. It doesn't mean just being a speaker once every 4 or 5 months. I mean, it means being on a couple of podcasts a month. It means speaking on a stage twice a week. I mean, really, if you want to be using speaking to build your business, that should be your goal, is speaking twice a week. And that was taught to me by one of my early mentors, Joe Saba, who was the co-founder of the Colorado chapter of National Speakers Association, which I'm still part of today. I joined in 2004, and it's just a way to be around other speakers that are doing this. But I think that is the real message here, is that whole trust saying of who people buy from has really evolved over the years. So somehow we as business owners need to remain visible so that we can be shared, we can be talked about, we can make a post. That's why LinkedIn is so great, because it allows us so many different ways to be visible. And of course, when you're visible there, that's where people who hire speakers live. So if you're visible enough, that's a great opportunity for you to get connected with people who bring in speakers. And then there you increase your visibility as well. See, this is all a process. I mean, there's a sequence to this. You start in a certain spot and you go 1, 2, 3, right through all, the whole process of how all this works. So there's not a lot of rocket science to getting into the speaking business and using speaking to build your business. You just have to know the sequence. And it's like going through it's like croquet. right? You remember croquet in the backyard? You got wickets, right? All around the yard. Well, what do? You go around all the yard and you have to hit the ball through the wickets. You don't just start and then go back through the wicket that you came from. That doesn't win. No. You have to go through the wickets.
There is a sequence. Matter of fact, I'd say in the sales training that we do here, we talk about how selling is nothing more and nothing less than asking a series of questions in a specific sequence to uncover an underlying issue. And speaking is a lot of the same way. Your opening, your preparation before, your opening, your intro, your delivery, your call to action. There's so much in there. Marty, I love this conversation. And I know I'm wrapping it up because we promised to go a little short, but this could go on forever. And here's the thing. I want to just kind of remind you guys, opportunities don't just magically appear. They're created. And sometimes the greatest opportunity is sitting right there in front of us, that one that we're afraid to step into, right? Your voice, your story, your expertise, and more importantly, your message. As Marty said, you're the only one that can walk it, talk it, do it the way you do in all of history. So if you've been sitting on that knowledge that could help people, or if you've been wondering how to attract more clients, if you've been looking for a smarter way to grow your business, guys, guess what? Denver needs to be your next stop. I want you to join us at the AchieveBiz Explosion Conference and learn from leaders like Marty and an incredible lineup of speakers committed to helping you accelerate your business growth. I'm telling you, there's so much to happen. Remember, your next client just might be waiting for you at this next conference, in the next conversation, in the next introduction. The next opportunity may be waiting for you next stage. Matter of fact, your next breakthrough is probably Denver. You just got to get there. Okay, that was the promo for the event, right? Now back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay, Marty, 2 questions left. In one sentence, what's the biggest mistake entrepreneurs, business owners make when it comes to speaking?
The biggest mistake that business owners make when it comes to speaking is taking too long to do it. Honestly, and I'm the worst victim of all, because once I discovered what the secret was, even though I did it, I hated it. And I really ran away from stage opportunities for 6 years. It took me that long to get to the point where I had a turning point, and I wanted to get in front of groups because I realized how much more efficient it was, rather than racking up 40 one-on-one calls every week and trying to build a business that way. It's a lot easier to get in front of 100 people and have 40 people walk up to you and say, "How do I hire you? Let's go. So I think that would be the most important thing, is don't wait. You hear about all this advice out there that you need to have a speaker website, O1 sheet, a prominent social media platform, YouTube channel. I mean, there's a whole laundry list of things you need to do. Well, as my mentor told me, speakers speak. You want to be a speaker, get out there and get dates on the calendar. And it doesn't have to be a $20,000 gig to 2,000 people. You just get out there and start speaking. There are all kinds of summits you can apply for to speak. There are all kinds of podcasts you can be on, and it just goes from there. The gold is in your audience. Oh, I let one of my secrets slip, because that's one thing I'm going to be talking about at the Achieve conference. See, I've been given 90 minutes to close out the Achieve conference. 90 minutes that's the very end of day 2 of the conference. And I specifically asked for that because everybody we meet, everything we do, everything that we learn at the Achieve conference, it all wraps into your opportunity to use speaking to build your business. So we have a 90-minute segment where I have handpicked 4 other professional speakers to give shorter presentations on very specific topics for the audience to digest and adapt and adopt and run with it. And I don't know anywhere that you could have this kind of an assembly of 4 speakers, plus I'll kick it off just to get things going. But I mean, we are in a strange time right now and a very important time right now for business owners. So this is like a very condensed version without all the fluff and stuff. And you are going to get specific step-by-step sequences for figuring out what your topic should be, for how to speak to corporate. I mean, corporate audiences are amazing right now, and they have budgets to pay speakers, how to become that mystical keynoter that you're after, and how to get publicity for yourself as a speaker. And those are the 4 things that we really need to educate people about. And it all happens at the Achieve conference.
And that, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, cool kids as I call them, that is why you need to get to Denver. That is why you need to go ahead. It sounds like an immediate ROI. I mean, right off of the bat, get in the room, because you just might miss out on something big. All right, one last question. I promise, Marty, I'll let you go. I promise. If you and I were sitting across from a business owner who says, I know I should be speaking, but I'm not ready, what would you tell them?
I would say, you are your worst critic. I'll bet you that I have more confidence in you than you do. Here, let's have a more in-depth conversation, and let's figure out exactly what your gem is. And by the end of that discussion, you'll be anxious to get onto a stage instead of just being anxious about speaking. You will be in the opposite direction, excited that you have something to offer. And I think that is really what holds people back in the area of confidence, is they really lack the confidence in believing they have something to truly offer the world. I was exactly like that. I just didn't think I really had enough to give, or that people haven't heard 1,000 times. But then I realized, and this took a long time to realize, that, again, nobody has my expertise in the exact way that I do things, and the case studies I have and the experiences I have. And once you realize that, then it's like, wow, I really do have an important message to get out there. And it's that message that surpasses anything that you can come up with as a roadblock, a challenge, because your message becomes more important than all of that. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning. I go to bed every night thinking, what stage can I get on tomorrow? Because I got to get this message out. And that's what it involves.
That is worth writing down. That's that writer downer, right? And I think, Marty, you just called out a few people in the most loving possible way. And I hope you got them I hope you moved them enough and called them out enough to get them to Denver. So here's what I'm going to do. I haven't done this for anybody else, but Marty, I'm going to go ahead and let you close this out. Get these people to Denver. Tell them to come on. What do they need to do? How do they need to get there? What do they need to book? Link. We'll put the link down below. So go ahead and click on the link to get registered. So Marty, go ahead and close this out.
I would love to do that. So Johnny and everyone else watching this, there is nothing like an Achieve conference. There is nothing like the Achieve system and the Achieve organization and the people of Achieve. Nothing like it. They are very assertive business owners who are in growth mode, and you need to be around these people if you want your business to grow as well. I would say 50 to 80% of the people who attend this conference and who are part of Achieve are already using speaking in some way to build their business. So you are in good company if you are already a speaker or thinking about bridging into using speaking to build your business. And you need to be around other people that are doing what you are doing, or that you want, or things that you want to do. You need to hang around those kinds of people, and they will support you. There is no reason that you need to feel like you are alone as a business owner. So that is always my pitch for coming to the Achieve conference, being an active part of Achieve over time, and just really sink your teeth into this organization, because that's all they're there to do, is support you in your business growth. There's no hidden agenda. Let's just grow together. And once you realize I don't have to do this alone, it is amazing how much easier it is to grow your business to whatever number you want that to become.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, book the flight, book the hotel. We will see you next week at the AchieveBiz Explosion Conference in Denver, Colorado. We'll see you.